Yeah. Cry hoon, jacking waves, riding up church train, solo flop, stay in your lane. You talk about mental illness, but put that on Ryan's name. Did you take your pills today? Short man, big accusations. Why are you hanging with her? We shall not mention. Adam cry hoon, country rap, jacking, chasing clout for fame. Short steps, tall tales, this ain't a game. Fake friends, backstabbing, feeding off shame. Are we weapon that don't cry home? Are we weapon? Cry hoon, short rap, tall, shaky foundation. Mental illness rap, but he's chasing sensations. Cheating on the wife, lies and deceit. Look in the mirror, the truth's bittersweet. Creep squads, crackheads, thought we had your back. Money in your pocket, now the disrespect. Now you under attack. Fake friend grinning, stabbing from the rear. Short stature, big mouth, living out of fear. Adam cry home, country rap, jacking, chasing clout for fame. Short steps, tall tales, this ain't a game. Fake friends, backstabbing, feeding off shame. Are we weapon that don't cry home? Doing rapping. Doing rapping. Doing rapping. About the pills and pain, jacking concepts, still riding that train. Snatching country rap, thinking you the GOAT. Shirt height, long lies, truth in every note. Are we weapon that don't cry home? Doing rapping. Adam cry home, country rap, jacking, chasing clout for fame. Short steps, tall tales, this ain't a game. Fake friends, backstabbing, feeding off shame. Are we weapon that don't cry home?
Yo, just in time, what's up? You done lost your mind, cheated on your baby mama, did it with her best friends. Your girt's exposed, now we see the trend. Who was just in time? Who? Living on lies, crime in the sad taboo. Say sorry to your baby mama, face what's through. Who was just in time? Who? Hide in the past like shadows in the night. Stripper days buried, but you brought them to light. Her life's a nightmare, you caused the fright. Old lady pushed around, you think that's right? Who's just in time? Who? Riding coattails of old girl twerking. No, we're trying to knock him brand new. Who's just in time? Who? Old girl twerking while you're crying in the rain. Yo, put hands on elders, insane. Now you're just another bad refrain. People look up to you, the fake country guy with no swag. Who is just in time? Who? Living on lies, crime in the sad taboo. Say sorry to your baby mama, face what's through. Who is just in time? Who?
Fed Ted has nothing on this. Your AI bear can't catch anything in 4K. Making a buck off the situation that isn't yours. Typical just in time. Are you the one with a size 12 shoe?
Who is just in time? Who? Living on lies, crime in the sad taboo. Say sorry to your baby mama, face what's through. Who is just in time? Who? Who is just in time? Who? Riding the coattails of old girl twerking, overcharging, acting brand new. Who is just in time? Who? Who's just in time? Who? Living on lies, crime in the sad taboo. Say sorry to your baby mama, face what's through. Who is just in time? Who?
Concentrate fire on the target.
Enemy battleship sunk.
Anybody want to do rapping? They all dissing me, why? Cause I'm the golden boy. These records too damn shiny, so go put your sunglasses on. This old motherfucker was rapping before I was born, and you still ain't beating nothing except skeleton of a dead horse. If I'm a bitch, I'm Snow White and done stomped out like 7 dwarfs. I got them blue jeans, baby, run the village like I'm Papa Smurf. Scary ass cracker, you scared to go first, cause it takes your ass 4 years to write a 12-bar verse. I give a 12-bar curse to rip to get the keys and start the 12-bar purse. I'm an alpha go and mega, now that ego hurts. And let me ask this first, why Adam the only superstar who never headlined in his own concert? His life shifted in reverse, that statement is a lasting verse. He said, I'm going to get the bag, and went and picked him up a purse. Texting his boyfriend's on the telly, hardest line, you called me Tubby. So addicted to the phone, install a screen right on his stomach. Industry under his shirt, he trying to hide it from the public. Now he doing propaganda, cause my fan base is cultic. Too authentic to replicate it, got his Play-Doh trying to sculpt it. His visions, homo motives that involve me being Cupid, a culprit. I'd never waste an arrow, only big game I'm hunting. Not a made it crystal clear, the word to speak or carve a condom. Y'all shoot bullets, I throw thunder on the pulpit, preach from under. I stay grounded like the roots from a down south motherfucker march. Skip the Wi-Fi bill and send his ass down the hustler. Buy a ball gag for his ass so he quit talking like a buster. I'm the Rain Man, on a cloudy day, he's still rocking them Ray-Bans. Can't even look himself in the mirror to believe the shit that his own brain says. I knew you wasn't a rapper the first time that I shook your tiny hand, cause you named your son one syllable away from the term gay man. I feel like Eminem and Nick Cannon for trying to find the K-dance. Tape man, gonna buy you a dictionary like dang. I'm a five flame spitter. My range, mind rage, career in the right page, right way in 10 minutes. You dug grave, too shallow to die in it. I told y'all leave me alone, but y'all kept blowing up my phone. Now your obituary is typed on geniuslyrics.com. I ain't even listened to your I'm jealous of up church song. And that's proof you ain't improvising, I'm physically walking improv. My pen game is tougher than a nylon slip knot. Only way you rock and roll is when I make you kick rock. You a case study for social media side effects. At this point, your heroin is cybernet. Don't recluse yourself inside a web, even more than a spider is. Hoser was right, you are even your hoe ass be sleeping inside a cider mill. Thinking that you're popping off, but I disassembled your pistol's firing pin. He looking down the barrel like, what the fuck's wrong with this shit? This motherfucker's got no common sense. Got a hot wife at home taking care of kids while they run around taking some Instagram pics with Jenny Lemons at an Airbnb he rented from some hipster chick that had a really cool garden fence. I'm just doing agriculture. Only thing you're good at is aggravating the culture, bitch. Yeah, you in the lane, but only when you also vulture shit. You mad that I got mold spit, I mold the pen. You growing, mode hating, hopelessness. Only thing you ain't gonna learn when old enough to comprehend is Dad was a Yankee doodle who barely even used the pen. I'm chilling in the rooster pen. I take this dude to lay it in. You ain't a used to be or has to been. You non-existently a used to been until I let you in. I'm evicting you and all your friends one by one. If I got a slick, you used to swerving and back it up like that old girl twerking. Back it up like that old girl twerking. I'ma back it up like that old girl. I'ma back it up like that old girl twerking. Who the fuck says that, bro? A guy that swings for the wrong team, that's for damn sure. Church. Talking to them motherfuckers. I wrote that when I was eating eggs, bitch. Wow. Doing rapping. Life fantastic, no more useless distractions. Standing on a country Casanova palace, banana marshmallow cabin, poured on a hill point.
guys. We're just checking to make sure that everything is working now. We are good. We're finally good. Goddamn. Well, so we ran into a bunch of issues with the other stream, so I had to take the stream down and then re-put the stream up. So it was a bunch of headaches. Big ass fucking headache is what it was, to be completely honest with you. But hey, shit happens, I guess, right? Yep, let's go with that. So I did see that Cody Bell did proceed to bring me up once again. You know, he just obsesses over me. And I'm going to be honest with you, dude, you telling a bunch of people who don't know who I am, just showing up in their comments, just random new people, which I did sub to the channel, by the way. Just doing that shit is kind of sus, man. Kind of sus. You know, people are going to sit there and go, you're kind of fucking psychotic. And, you know, most people would think that. The majority of people think you're psychotic. And keep pushing those lies that I spewed over fucking just to get what you wanted in court. Because you couldn't get it the way that you wanted, or the legitimate way. Because you knew she didn't have it. But hey, keep doing it. No, actually, no. How about you grow the fuck up, and just move the fuck on? Shoebox Files, I noticed that you have been bringing me up as well. I'm going to tell you to go fuck off because you're talking to friends, and some of them may give in to what you're saying, but the majority of them won't. So you're just talking about a few handful of people I game with on Call of Duty. A few of those people that you mentioned will not give you the time of day because they don't add randoms. They don't accept friend requests from randoms, and they don't have anything to do with randoms. Now, the ones that are stupid enough to do it, then yeah, maybe. But it's whatever, man. I currently don't give a fuck. So, you know, like my good friend Object, actually, who's been on the stream multiple times, was one of the people that he supposedly sent a friend request and message. He already said, trust me, I talked to him literally last night. He told me that he didn't even give you a response. Like, as far as I know, even if you sent him a friend request, he's not going to accept a random friend request. He doesn't do that shit. And, dude, you're forgetting, we're buds. We consider each other brothers. So that shit ain't going to happen. Sorry if you don't got friends that are that close, but hey, that sounds like a you problem, not a me problem. It's a personal you problem, not a me problem. But guys, go check out Object on Twitch. He is an awesome guy. He's good to watch. He's a good time. Go check him out. All right, let's get into this. All right. We got another stream from Oh No, it's Alex. Let's watch it.
Easy way to capture your gameplay? Introducing Outplayed. Record anything on your PC. Highlight reels, let's play sessions, mod.
It's here! That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Switch 2 has finally been announced. That's right. Yesterday we had the big reveal. Apparently Nate the Hate was leaning.
Oh, okay. We're not actually going to watch this yet. That's right. I almost forgot about that. All right, guys. You guys are going to see it here, but we are watching the announcement of the Switch 2. Let's get into this. Guys, it is the Switch 2. Coming out this year, guys. Wow. Oh, wow. So it does have backwards compatibility. That's sick. That's really cool. Well, guys, we just watched the announcement for the Switch 2. Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting. It's kind of cool to see it coming. I know we're gonna have to watch Harmon Smith tonight now because of it, whether you like it or not, because he said it was never coming. That the Switch 2 was never going to come out. He said we still had time for the regular Switch. That's a funny joke that I heard. So here's the fucked up part. Harmon Smith was wrong and everyone else was right. How surprised are we here? Is this really a surprise to you guys or anyone who watches this channel? Like, dude, Harmon, you were wrong the whole fucking time. How does that make you feel?
It's here! That's right, ladies and gentlemen. The Switch 2 has finally been announced. That's right. Yesterday we had the big reveal. Apparently Nate the Hate was leaning back in his chair, basically saying, guys, I told you so, which basically means that Halo is going to be coming to the Nintendo Switch and also the PS5. Good. I honestly cannot wait. These clowns who talked about like, oh, we're so good at video games. Bro, I cannot wait to get some
Bring it!
free points, level up them battle passes, and get some free MMR from these clowns when it comes out on the PS5 or the MCC. And honestly, hopefully get new life injected back into that game because, boy, Lord, it needs it. The thing is, though, I'm a PC gamer. Why the hell am I excited for the Nintendo Switch 2? There are a couple of reasons. You see, number one, I absolutely love this thing. This is my Steam Deck. I mostly play all my games on this directly. Some games play better than others, mostly because Linux is a real deal. On top of that, though, this has been a huge eye-opener for me, especially with the way games are being designed nowadays. There are too many instances where even most modern consoles or even modern GPUs do not utilize their capabilities correctly. We're getting everything from upscaled visuals at 462p or even
That sounds about right.
sometimes even below sub HD levels to try and hit 60 FPS on a piece of device that you plug into a wall, has a high power draw, and then all of a sudden we're playing at these substandard levels. Then I have a 5090 that I got to plug a generator back up into when that thing comes out, which I'm definitely not going to buy either. So seeing what handhelds are doing, especially with AMD is showing with the new SoCs, a lot of the interesting parts for me in terms of gaming hardware now in the future isn't going to be in just high-end desktops. It's going to be mostly handheld devices. And I know people talk about that like, oh, why would you play on a sub HD screen with low ray tracing? And I never really cared about that stuff anyways. HD, sure. Ray tracing, not so much. So for me, the actual portable experience seems a lot more in line with what I really want to enjoy moving forward, and also a better way to play my games. There's a lot more to think about with this, though. The thing is, even though handhelds are going to be really great moving forward, I'm more interested in how NVIDIA's proprietary chipset and their DLSS software is going to possibly work on the Nintendo Switch 2. How's it going to upscale? What's it going to run at? How old games are going to function? And things along that nature. Now, look, I'm not going to be shy about this. I've been very, what's the word? Upset at Nintendo, especially with their behavior and being so litigious towards emulation and emulators. They
Yeah, I agree. That kind of sours me when it comes to that company.
really don't like reeling for a reason, or even selling old games back to you. Yeah, they've not done quite well at all for any of that. The thing is, though, one great piece of information that was announced yesterday was the fact that the Switch 2 is going to be compatible with all the games from Switch 1. Caveat, though, apparently there are some games that are not going to be working with the Switch 2. That really goes to show that could it be just an emulator being run from the back end of the Switch 1 into the Switch 2? Or what are they doing specifically that made that drastic change where not every game will in fact run? That's the part that's really interesting to me because of the fact that Nintendo now owns basically all of Yuzu. Did they try to close these emulators down to then use that software for emulation of the Switch 1 into the Switch 2? That may ask a couple of questions, especially when people are going to be getting their hands on this thing pretty soon when it comes out and they're doing some teardowns. I really want to see what MVG is going to be looking at in terms of how this thing operates with emulation, or even if it is.
Well, it's like I've said before, it's a very interesting concept, and I'm very excited to see it come. But to see what it actually does, it'll be surprising. We're talking about Nintendo here, so they haven't made a console that's up to par with everything in a while, which tells you that people really don't give a shit about graphics or frame rate and all that shit. So, but I personally care about frame rate, which gives me more gameplay.
Is emulating old Switch games to then play on the Switch 2, or if there's actual dedicated hardware from the Switch 1 inside of this to play those games as well. Seeing as how physical games will in fact work from the Switch 1 to the Switch 2 in this category. So yeah, this could give us a couple of glimpses into why Nintendo has been so litigious lately with emulation in the first place. I always thought it was because the Switch 2 was going to be backwards compatible, but if it's because it's just emulating Switch 1 games, that could be an even bigger reason as to why. Shut them down, own their code, use their code to then emulate Switch 1 on our new hardware. Wouldn't that be something, huh? I mean, it's not the first time that Nintendo's been caught basically using ROMs or emulation in their own actual games being released back to people that they then charge for. Wouldn't be the first time at all, actually. So with all that being said and all that...
They have, Nintendo's very notorious for doing things like that. I don't understand why they have to go so against emulation, but emulation is literally what helps keep these old games alive. The boards, the discs, all of it eventually deteriorate. So what are you going to do once these games are gone?
Tinfoil hattery out of the way, there are a couple of things that I've noticed going around the internet recently that I think is kind of odd, actually. People were saying that the reveal for the Switch 2 is underwhelming, and honestly, I have to kind of disagree. It's very different from what we normally see with Nintendo in the first place. A lot of what they were showing was very sleekly designed, very changing and morphing into something new, giving itself some sort of distance from the original Switch, but also letting you know that this is a new model rather than doing the entire Wii U debacle all over again. Not being called the Switch U is definitely a way better call if you ask me. But the thing is, though, it looked...
The fucking Wii U was a fucking dumpster fire. And anyone who disagrees with that, sorry, you're wrong. Because the Nintendo Wii U was a complete shit show. That console almost made Nintendo bankrupt.
As if though there was some more up-to-date marketing in terms of how they're presenting the Switch 2. We also got a peek at Mario Kart 9, I'm guessing is really what it's going to be. And I was kind of hoping to see other games running on it as well. There's one part of the Switch 2 that really does concern me though, and that's with the Joy-Con where it magnetically locks into place. Everybody's been looking at this piece specifically and honestly have to tend to agree. There is one specific slot where the actual Joy-Con clicks in, and that seems to be the place where people are going to be actually breaking Joy-Cons. Now, as an adult who's able to handle electronics correctly, I would have no problem with how this is actually set up and operated because you would just click it in like normal. The thing is, though, I feel like people who play the Switch are kind of, and I feel like they're going to try and bend it and break it off like that in like a 90-degree angle rather than just peeling it off like normal. It's got a button in the back to do it, for Pete's sake. And maybe that could be the thing that stops it from happening. But that seems to be a failure point in the Switch 2's design in terms of basically just breaking consistently. There's also been something going around as well, that one of the additional connector pieces for the Joy-Con is actually a mouse, which you can then use on a flat surface. That'd be kind of neat if we had things like Mario Paint come back, or even people were joking around that the Xbox PC Game Pass would be on the Switch 2 as well. Now that would be funny if that was the case. Or here's just a funny thing for you. What if you could load Linux onto the Switch 2 and then play that with PC games on that mouse Joy-Con? I don't know. I think that'd be kind of funny to see. I'm sure somebody's going to do it. Won't be me, though, because I'm not that smart. According to Jason Schreier, Nintendo, in fact, decided to release the trailer early because they wanted to have third-party publishers put their games and get ready for the Switch 2 on its announcement coming up in a couple of months. That's an interesting one directly, mostly because that exact same day that the trailer was announced, we also got a visual representation of what Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is going to look like on the Steam Deck. So we have a handheld being announced. The same day that the announcement happens for that handheld, we see Square Enix, who went ahead and decided to
That's interesting. That is very interesting, actually. I didn't actually think about that. That's very interesting. Kind of exciting. Well, I can't wait to see what happens. The Switch 2 could end up having more third party.
show, here's what the game is going to look like on a handheld. And my prediction is you're going to be seeing Remake and Rebirth hit that Switch 2 very quickly. If I were a betting man, you're going to be seeing a lot of games hit that Switch 2 very quickly. And that really goes to show what's going to be happening in the gaming space in general. I feel that the high-end console market, the $700 plus area that people are really chiming into and wanting to say that is the real gaming console, I feel like it's going to be shrinking faster than people actually believe. And I feel like what's going to be happening is everybody's going to be moving to these. You see, Gen Z and even millennials, I'm old, I'm a millennial, which is kind of crazy. I'm going to be 42 really soon. God, my bones are turning into dust. It's really not a good sign. A lot of us don't have the ability to play on our big screen LG CX 65-inch TVs until very late at night because we have children, or we just fall asleep with the controller in our hands. I've been playing more on this because it allows me to game in other places that don't allow me to play a video game. I don't have to worry about spending time dedicating it to gaming, where I can get 35, 45 minutes or even an hour on this, put it back to charge and I'm good to go, and then pick it up and go back where I left off because it auto suspends my game. So that's a nice feature. And to add on top of that, the majority of gamers are in fact within their 30 to 40-year-old range, more disposable income than time. Being able to fit a device into that space that gives you the ability to game whenever you possibly can, and also just be conformed to you rather than you conform to it, is a good thing. So as gamers get older, my expectation is we're going to be moving more to this rather than just a dedicated console specifically. I also expect more this actually happening, but this is more of like a Gen Z kind of a deal. That's what I've noticed too as well. A lot of people don't really mess with, this more so than this, which is kind of interesting as well. So I really want to see what's going to be happening with third-party.
I can see that. Gen Zers are obsessed with their mobile phones. I don't see, because that is a popular trend. I wonder if games are going to start porting more and more over to mobile phone.
publishers and putting the games onto the Switch. My guess is you're going to be seeing everybody under the sun put their games onto that damn piece of plastic, and it's going to be pretty insane to see because everybody was underestimating what the Switch 1 could do, and now they saw how successful it was, and they're going to be turning right around and trying to put their games on the sequel for that same device. Seeing as how people are hyped for it, people want to play it, people want to get it, and they want an upgrade from what they had for 7 years ago. I think 8 now, right? Is it 8? Yeah, it's about 8. And on top of that, if Nintendo can do a couple of things right, it'd be really cool to see them actually pull this off. Online cross-play functionality has to be a big one. The online experience for that thing is an absolute pile of garbage. Number 2, even though I don't like them personally, there needs to be some sort of achievement trophy or sticker list. I don't care. Make it stickers for Pete's sake that are specific points so you can actually unlock them while you play the game. Give developers the ability to just bring everything over and then have them play it that way on your Nintendo profile account to earn coins or whatever. I don't know. Make something. People really love this Pavlovian dog response to a sound and a pop-up for some reason. And they're...
Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I enjoy earning achievements because when I get achievements, I'm like, yay, I earned an achievement. But they could do something like that. They could do something like with coins, like in particular, like since they use coins quite often in Mario games.
It really explains why we're all brain rotted in the first place, don't you think? But the thing that really interests me about this device specifically is going to be how AMD and NVIDIA move forward inside of the handheld gaming space. We've seen AMD make some really good headway with their Z2 APUs, and seeing NVIDIA do some more mobile chip stuff is honestly going to be great as well. I also want to see how DLSS is going to be implemented inside of the actual Switch 2, or even if FSR or Intel XeSS is going to be allowed as well. But the part that I'm really interested about is being able to see how specific games that are ported onto the Switch 2 will actually compare in terms of performance with the actual Steam Deck, and what sort of games are going to be working with the Steam Deck as well as the Switch 2, and if we can even then emulate Switch 2 games onto the deck itself. That's going to be more interesting to me than anything else. How will emulated games on the deck perform comparative to the actual native hardware of the Switch 2, and will that even be a possibility as well? I'm more interested in the actual mechanics of things and how things are actually going to be playing out in terms of emulation, even though it is going to be a scary thing to try and test out because, but really just the performance in general of that system is going to be interesting. Are they going to be offering boost modes or additional frame rate modes for other games from the Switch 1 like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, which obviously insanely needed because that 24 to 25 FPS is not a fun time. And really just anything else along with that nature. The backwards compatibility is nice. I really hope they carry things over from the Nintendo shop that you buy games on and bring them over, or their whatever online service. I don't know. It's just, they have to stop doing Nintendo-like solutions for their Nintendo products and just go with what the modern group is doing, which makes a lot more sense. And that'll be just a lot easier for everybody across the board for cross-play functionality and just gameplay functionality as well. I'd hate to have MCC being ported to the Switch 2 and then not being able to cross-play it and only being stuck with playing on the Switch directly. So that's going to immediately kill the game if that happens. That's really not what I'm looking forward to see. I want to have everybody be able to play the game together and just have a lot of fun, regardless of what kind of piece of hardware you're on or whatever piece of plastic. That's just me, though. Finally,
You should be able to enjoy your gaming no matter what you're playing on.
the price. It is rumored to be at $399. Really, that's what I'm kind of expecting, honestly. Some other rumors are saying $449, but hey, if it's below $500, I consider that to be a win as well. I don't know if it's going to be OLED or LCD, but either way, a bigger screen is always better, and it just looks more comfortable from what they've been showing and just showcasing overall. Either way, I feel like if Nintendo's able to do the right thing, I may in fact pick one up for science and then see how it performs comparative to the actual Steam Deck in a handheld device. And if more games are ported to it than there are on my actual Steam Deck, who knows? That may be the handheld everybody's been actually looking for quite some time. And it could be the big spark that happens to push more people to handheld gaming than they honestly would have expected. But you know what? Let me know what you guys think in the comments section down below. Are you going to be picking up a Switch 2, or are you going to go ahead and start buying some old back catalogs of games to then fill your library up so when the Switch 2 comes out, you'll be able to play them? Or are you more like a wait-and-see approach? Me, I want to see what's going to happen and how it performs and which games are going to be delayed for not being able to work from the Switch 1 to the Switch 2 and seeing how backwards compatibility actually works on that end. But if you want to see more of this kind of content, more gaming hot takes, more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, and live streams every Saturday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern. Subscribe to the channel. We're on our way to 77K. I just want to say thank you guys so very much. If you also want Discord access and emotes during live streams Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern on this channel, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. If you don't want to...
Okay. Alex, you do a good job every time. But no, he's got a good point. I can't wait to see what this Switch is capable of. We'll see what it can do and see what it's capable of, guys. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we are back. We are back. All right. Okay. We're already caught up on Alex. But
show ever. SNL is on the brink of cancellation.
The weird year is the polite way to put it. Most people say to me it was the bad year.
Yeah, I got fired. We gonna talk about
sure, Bruvian.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen of Brov Nation, let me tell you about RoboCop Rogue City, okay? If anyone has seen the movies, then you need to play this game, bro.
Guys, you can go find it both for oh no, it's Alex and a couple of fools down in the description of the stream and other videos.
Haven't already, then you must go buy it right now, right? Well, watch the video first. Let me tell you why it's so good, right? You are the RoboCop. But I know it's a really simple thing to say, on a game titled RoboCop, but I'm telling you, it is the ultimate RoboCop fantasy role play, right? They have nailed it. Right, as soon as the music hits, you know the music. I'm not going to play it for copyright reasons, but you know the music. That bum, 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 bum. Oh my God, it hits. It hits. You get that nostalgia spike right away. But that's not all. You get into the game, bro. Right? And you are RoboCop, right? And immediately, from the very first step you take, everything that is happening in real life, the bills you have to pay, the drama maybe at your work, any stress from adulting that might be a burden to you is lifted off of your shoulders.
I might have to play RoboCop then.
You hear the iconic oh, that thud though. Look, bro, there's nothing more gangster.
Dude, I might actually have to go play RoboCop. You're gonna get me to want to play RoboCop. Don't be doing this, man. I'm not too big into RoboCop. I never was, so.
Just. And then you whip out your hand cannon, right? Which, brovettes, ladies and gentlemen of Brov Nation, has infinite ammo, bruv. So you can just pop heads, break skulls, sever legs, just, oh my God. Let me tell you, this is a AA game, bruv, right? There's two. You could look at things like normal life like this now, or you can do it in RoboCop mode, right? Where you're seeing it through the visor, how it's meant to be seen, bruv. Through the eyes of RoboCop.
Like right now, I feel like you're trying to sell me RoboCop. To be completely honest with you, bro, I really feel like you're trying to sell me RoboCop.
It's so good. You walk in, everyone's like a punk rocker. Everyone has that 80s sort of punk rock style. They all have the mohawks, and you know what I'm talking about with the style, right? It's over the top. It's cheesy. It's so violent. It's gruesome. It's epic. You walk into a room, they all coming at you, bruv. But you're the RoboCop. You don't give a fuck. And you're just spraying lead and popping heads. Like picking up monitors and just launching them at people. We're not talking the nice little gaming monitors of 2025. No, we're talking about the big, thick back fucking monitors. You need a forklift truck to pick up an inch off the floor. You know, you just grab a guy by the fucking neck. Well, just even the guns out. And just throw him through the ceiling, bro. Watch him fall down and smash it.
You seem to have really enjoyed that game. I might actually have to give it a go.
Someone else. So when you start unloading clips, by the way, you feel like you're unloading clips, my guy. Like there'll be glass breaking, monitors exploding, walls falling down, debris falling off the pillars, the roof is collapsing, there's water going everywhere, there's blood being sprayed, there's bones breaking, heads popping, arms falling off. It's an absolute massacre. Listen, you are RoboCop. You are the judge, the jury, and the fucking executioner. And anyone who stands in your way, you just bum 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 bum. Oh my God, listen. It's so good, man. I started it last night, and my wife hasn't seen RoboCop, so I don't really think she understood the excitement, because I wasn't expecting that much of a nostalgia spike. Like, I started it, and as soon as I got in.
So what you're saying? You're now telling us you hit a midlife crisis. Gotcha.
As soon as I got in. Souls, bruv. And it has all the characters in it that we remember. I'm bad with names, but you know, you'll know when you see, and when you see, you will know. You go, oh, that's the guy. Oh, that's the girl. Oh, and it has that bit as well. Remember from the movies where Murphy's past starts to sort of resurface, right? Like a glitch. He starts to remember things, and he hears like echoes of dialogue from his past coming through, and it causes him to sort of like freeze in big sort of moments, and the people are like, oh, can we trust the RoboCop of our lives? It's good, man. It's good. I can't wait to experience more of this story. But just the gameplay, just being, they have nailed becoming RoboCop, bro. They've nailed it. I am BravoCop when I'm playing. Like, nothing else matters. I just go in and I'm BravoCop. And I have the greatest time. The time of my life. It's just epic. So, look, you know who you are. Warpig. You're a real one. Thank you so much for the gift, man. It's a game I wanted to play for a while. Never really got around to doing it. Being able to fill the boots of everyone's favorite RoboCop is just, man, what a hit. It's
kind of cool, man.
Maybe you want to go back and rewatch all the movies. It's great. Guys, listen, if you haven't played it, so why are you even watching this now? Fucking buy it. Go buy it. It's great. You won't regret it.
I don't normally buy a new game. I maybe buy one new game a month, and I've already bought my game for this month. Sorry, Nation. That game was New World Eternal.
Anyway, guys, I need to go back and do some more. But before I go, I'm going to do it the right way.
Okay. Oh, well, we can obviously tell that he really enjoyed the RoboCop game. So, and that's pretty good. It's always good to find that game that you really enjoy. Then you're just excited to play it every time.
Wow, so this is Xbox. Let's finally see what this trash has to offer. Just get it out of the way. So let's just stick with Game Pass. What do you have? I know you have no games. My Sony brethren, they know you have no games. Xbox has no games. Prove that you do. Come on, Xbox. What have you got? You know what? Just give me everything you've got in Game Pass. Show me what you have. Impress me. Okay. Master Chief Collection. I get that. What else? Gears of War. Calm down. All right. Yeah, we all know about Gears of War. What else? What else? Forza Horizon. Sunset Overdrive. Come on, man. What else? Doom Dark Ages. Shit. You're getting Atom 4. Expedition. Oh, shit. Oh, God. It's too much, bro. It's too many games, bro. It's too much. It's too much. Oh. Oh. No. Please. Oh, make it stop. Make it stop. Rob, I'm sorry, Game Pass. No. So many. Make it stop. Make it stop.
Okay, what the fuck did I just watch? Oh shit, that was funny. I like that. That was good. That was good. Okay, guys, like I said, go check out the Brub Nation. There's a link in the description of the stream. There's also usually one on every video that we upload to YouTube. Cool. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Dark Holiday says Sony is dead. Okay. Okay. This is Dark 1985.
This year, start building it yourself. With Printful, you can launch your online store in minutes without inventory.
What's up, everybody? Dark 1985.
Again, a video in your fucking laundry. I don't know if any of you guys have seen this guy, but he literally does his videos in his fucking laundry room.
There's levels to this. Sony is dead. I had to make this title because I know nobody else will do it. Sony is dead. Are you here? Did you click on it? Did it work? Did it get you to click? Because that's the same thing that these popular PlayStation podcasts and PlayStation personalities will do with Xbox at least once a month.
It's once a month, yeah. It's like once a month that you always see, oh, Xbox is dead, Xbox is dead. But dude, they're still here.
Xbox is dead, Xbox is dead. Yes, somehow Xbox is still here. Let me tell you right now before you start typing anything. This is not a console war channel. I'm going to slow it down so you idiots get it. The PS5 is better than the Xbox Series X. See, that confused the hell out of them. Now they can't stop it. Right? The PS5 is better than the Xbox Series X. The PS5 is outselling the Xbox Series X like crazy. 70 million console souls. What does that do for me? Idiot, please explain to me how Sony selling more consoles helps you, me and you out as a gamer.
No.
We play games. We don't play console sales. No. I'm to here with this shit. Oh my God.
No, console sales aren't really important anymore. It's not about console sales, it's about subscription sales and game sales. So when a company's looking at it, they're not going to look at what they're selling for a console. They're going to look at it, what are they making, like what is their bottom line? How are they going to make more money? And to be honest with you, consoles never really made money for companies because the hardware is usually pretty expensive to make. So usually they go in for a loss. It's the software that they make a lot of money off of. That's where the money comes in. The games and the apps and all that stuff.
Be cursing. Listen to me. I'm extremely upset because for the entire generation, it seems like everybody has an insider over at Xbox and Microsoft, but nobody has an insider over at Sony. Nobody knew that 9 games were going to be canceled? 9! Not 1, not 2, not 3.
Fucking 9 games. Holy shit. Jeez, 9 games. 9 games were canceled by Sony. Let's double check this. Holy shit, this can't... Oh, wow. They can't. This is what I keep telling people. I kept telling people this, but no one want to fucking listen to me. See, everyone's like, oh, Sony makes such great games, no matter what, even when they make shit games. They canceled 9 games. He is right about this. So it does seem that PlayStation has been canceling a lot of live service games is what it is. They cannot make a live service game to save their life. And every time they try, they can't seem to get an idea through that works with and resonates with people. So at that point, you know what? I don't know if PlayStation's going to be able to keep up.
What are we doing? Stop focusing on Xbox because your problem with Xbox Xbox is doing bad financially and all this other stuff, and Game Pass is not sustainable, and developers don't want to develop for Game Pass and stuff. Meanwhile, the gamers that are gaming on Xbox are perfectly fine. Xbox gamers are actually getting Xbox games. PlayStation gamers are not getting PlayStation games.
No.
They're getting third-party games. And you told me that you bought a PlayStation for their single-player exclusives. But you see, I've been telling you since the beginning of this generation, only Xbox gamers actually buy PlayStations for their exclusive. That's why, if you talk to an Xbox gamers, they will tell you that their PlayStation is collecting dust.
Let me just... He's also right there. He's not wrong. So when it comes down to it, the only reason to buy a PlayStation is for the exclusives. And even then, the exclusives are going over to PC. And they haven't had any, they've had little to none this year, this generation.
Dog, Astrobot? I know it won Game of the Year, but dog, Astrobot? Astrobot! Come on, man. If that was the case, that should have been playing Nintendo. Y'all better pre-order the Nintendo Switch 2, because they're going to have way more versions of Astrobot. Better versions, right?
That's right. Fuck it. I'm sorry, but Astrobot literally was nothing more than a clone of Nintendo games. Just a bunch of Nintendo games put into one game. And that is how they won Game of the Year, by having to steal games from another developer, because they cannot make a game. They cannot develop to save their lives. The CEO said something like, we don't have enough IPs, but yet they're sitting on an absolute shit ton of IPs. Come on.
Yeah, I don't know anything. And even in my Twitter, I see it. People literally comment 70 million sold, enough said. Look at these idiots. They really believe that they're playing sales.
No one gives a shit about console sales anymore. I don't know if you've noticed, but no one cares about exclusives. They don't care about these console sales, because that's not what's important. It's how many Game Pass users can we get? How many people can we get to use our Game Pass? That's what I'm getting at. Yeah, perfect. How many people can we get to use this? This is what they're trying to sell. They're not trying to sell you anything other than this. They could care less about selling a console.
PlayStation is better than the Xbox, the PS5 is. But what I'm talking about is Sony. Sony is in trouble, and you didn't see it, and that's why I'm mad, because you're supposed to be the PlayStation fanboy. You're supposed to be the PlayStation podcast host. You're supposed to be the PlayStation personality. You're supposed to be the PlayStation journalist that should have been able to see the same way that you can see that Xbox was going to go third party and that they're not making another console, even though they're making another console. You should have seen what's going on with...
Yeah, they are making another console. And to be honest with you, because of Game Pass and what it's rumored to have, it may do very, very well.
Freaking PlayStation, but you don't, because you have your head so far up Microsoft. Jesus, you make the darkness tremble. Jesus. Listen to me. Somebody needs to tell me what's going on over there at PlayStation. I am a PC gamer now, and I love gaming on my PC. However, I will come on camera and tell you the problems that I have with PC, because I have nothing to hide. I need PlayStation gamers to demand better or either shut your mouth. Dog, why didn't you demand better from Xbox? You idiot, I did. I wanted the Xbox Series X to be better. It wasn't, so I left. That's literally demanding better. I'm gone. Now, if you want to talk about Game Pass, here's the problem with Game Pass, right? Game Pass is not a problem. Game Pass is delivering on its promise. Game Pass is literally giving us day-and-date games from Xbox Studios, from Xbox Publishing, and even third-party publishing as well.
It's because, to be honest with you, PlayStation fanboys are scared of Game Pass. Because Game Pass provides a solution, a more affordable solution for gaming. Instead of having to buy a $60 or $70 game every month, they can just pay for Game Pass, and they got hundreds of games that month. They can play anything. Like I never don't have a game to play because of Game Pass, and that's what I'm getting at. Without Game Pass, and that's the way the industry is going too. Because PlayStation tried it too. Granted, they didn't do as well, but they're trying it as well. And I wonder if Nintendo might be doing something similar as well once the Switch comes out.
And I can use my Xbox or my Game Pass on my PC as well. So Game Pass is not a problem. From the gamer's perspective, Xbox is not a problem. I will admit to you that it's clear that Xbox could care less about the console. Oh yeah, that's clear. Especially if you see a PC gamer talking about Xbox doesn't care about the console, tell them to stop playing on PC and go get a console. They won't. They won't. But here's the problem, though. You're still stuck on PlayStation 5 versus Xbox. That's not what this is.
No.
The console war is over. Sony won. This is not a console war channel. But right now, Sony is looking real iffy. And you know what? I can't even really blame Sony. Because you said that people bought PlayStations to play their first party exclusive. When you know it's a lie. There's only one console that out there that you actually buy for their exclusives. This console, you buy this console and you don't even care what third party exclusives are coming to it. What console is that? Say it with me. You know what the answer is. Nintendo, right? You don't even care. Bro, they announced that Call of Duty is coming to the Nintendo Switch 2. Nobody cares. No one's going to play Call of Duty on the Nintendo Switch 2. Nobody cares. You buy a Nintendo for their exclusives. You don't buy a PlayStation for their exclusives. That's a lie that you've been selling. And Sony knows the truth. You buy a PlayStation because it's just a more popular brand. But the problem that Sony is having right now.
Well, people buy a PlayStation because it's got the little Sony logo on the side. I've said this time and time again. Sony does, so as long as it's got the PlayStation logo, these PS5 fucking fanboys, these PlayStation fanboys will buy it up. They'll buy it up. And Sony knows this, and they take advantage of them pretty hard. Why do you think they charged almost $1,000 for a fucking console? Like, this is only PlayStation. You don't see Xbox charging $1,000 for a fucking console. Fuck no. You don't see Xbox being anti-consumer. Actually, we're seeing the exact opposite from Xbox, which is rare for Microsoft. Because, yes, in the past, Microsoft has been anti-consumer. But I think they've learned a lesson. They are being more anti-consumer than any other gaming industry in this industry right now. And I know it's saying a lot, but think about it. Game Pass is only $20 a month. And what you get for $20 a month is a lot. Okay, you get more for $20 a month with Game Pass than you do buying a $70 game.
At least it seems like it is. They need to make more money. These single player AAA story driven games don't make enough money. You don't buy enough of them.
They don't buy games. They play Twitter. They don't play video games. They play Twitter.
And now them sharing the revenue with other developers, and apparently it's not helping them either. You know, Helldivers is successful, but it's successful.
Wasn't successful because PlayStation was successful because of PC.
Because they put it on PC day and date.
Today, we're checking out Once Human. It's a world set in a supernatural post-apocalyptic universe. This game is set to come out on July 9th, but we managed to get our hands on it early to see what all the hype is about. Because this game actually topped the Steam wishlist. If you want to try this for yourselves, you can even pre-download that demo right now, and you can add Once Human to your wishlist if you're interested in it. This game ticks so many boxes that make fun game for us. It has survive and hunt. It has exploration with a huge open world map, which gets harder and harder as you progress. It has construction. You can be as creative as you like and build a sick base. It has looting. It's super satisfying and addicting looting up in this game, as it has RPG style equipment with various rarities and stats. It has high difficulty, skill-based.
There's more people playing.
Very interesting. It looks interesting.
In Helldivers on PC than there are people playing Helldivers on PlayStation.
Very true.
Yes, Sony is making money, but they're sharing that money with Steam. You know that, right? They're sharing that Helldivers money with Steam.
Yeah, Valve gets 30% of every Helldiver game sold.
So Sony would love for you, PlayStation fans, since you love PlayStation, get off of Marvel Rivals and go play some Helldivers. But you see, Sony is looking at this, right? And they're like, damn, here we go. We got Apex Legends out there. Damn, Epic got Fortnite. Damn, we got Helldivers that's doing really well on PC. But damn, Microsoft got Minecraft, Sea of Thieves, right? Halo is still being played, right? And for them and then they got Call of Duty. They got Call of Duty. So yes, it's on PlayStation, and a lot of gamers on PlayStation are playing Call of Duty, but they're sharing that money with Xbox.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about financials? Talk about that. Sony wants 100% of the revenue from their game. Stop playing everything else. Only play Sony games. Shout out to my dude Jay Barry. Jay Barry said this: y'all complain about live service games, but y'all don't buy the single player games. These are facts. Listen. All I want to know is, where are the Sony content creators, the Sony podcasts that have this beautiful, crazy vision where they can see the future of Xbox, but they can't see the future of PlayStation? What is going to happen with PlayStation? This is what I want to know, and you better answer this. Is PlayStation going to quit making live service games? Because now they've lost, 9, 8, whatever, out of the 12, okay?
Don't forget Concord flopped so badly it literally was taken off the shelves within a couple weeks.
They had one that was successful, which was Helldivers, right? And then they had one that flopped horribly, okay? And number 2, okay? So are they going to continue with live service games, right? If they do, it is what it is. If they don't, are they going to go back to making single-player games? And if they go back to single-player games, okay, perfectly fine. Are they going to continue making remakes and remasters? Will
That's
they put
actually
their
a
games
good
day and
one.
day on PC?
That's a good one because they've been doing a lot of remasters. Like every game that I've seen come out from them in the past year has been remastered.
These are all things I want to know. As a gamer, these are things that I care about. I don't care about the 70 million console sales because that does nothing for me. I don't care that developers might be saying that nobody, or whoever it was, somebody's portfolio said that nobody in the industry wants Game Pass. Screw you! I want Game Pass, and I'm a gamer.
We all want Game Pass. It's because it's changed the industry.
Who doesn't want Game? And then if you don't want Game Pass, don't put your game on Game Pass. You know how easy it would be for the industry to kill Game Pass? They could do it like that. You guys are idiots. All it would take is for nobody but just Microsoft to put their games on Game Pass. That's what it would take. But that's not what you see. You see games going on Game Pass all the time from different publishers. EA is on Game Pass. Ubisoft is on Game Pass. What?
Ubisoft? Oh yeah, Ubisoft did start putting their games on Game Pass.
What are you talking about? Focus.
EA is on Game Pass, but that's because EA now is included with Game Pass.
On Sony. PlayStation 5, the console is doing great. It's phenomenal. But Sony itself, Sony's dead. I don't even know what direction Sony is going in anymore. It's crazy. This generation, everybody changed who they were. Who looks like the smarter company right now? Who looks like the smarter company? I need to apologize to King David. King David's been saying that freaking Sony was gonna die, and I was like, I don't know why he's saying that. I don't know why he's saying that. But I didn't listen to his words. Words have meaning. Sony is dead, and y'all killed it with y'all BS. I'm not even mad at the fanboys either because the journalists are doing it too. We've been telling you about this Xbox tax, and you don't believe it. Anytime there's negative news about Xbox, people know 3 months in advance. People make rumors 5 months in advance. We find out after it happened when so much stuff happens. How? And now you got some PlayStation fanboys talking about this is great that all these live service games failed. Maybe they learned their lesson. Okay, not maybe they learned their lesson. Find that same janitor that works on the Xbox that tells you all these rumors and stuff, right? Get that same janitor to go work at Sony and tell you everything that's going on over there because I want to know what happens next. Do they abandon their live service strategy, or what happens next?
Don't see them banning the live service strategy because the live service strategy makes too much money. Microtransactions alone makes them a shit ton of fucking money.
How do you know all this stuff about Xbox if you don't know nothing about your own house? That's weird. Yeah.
Well, it's what it is it's kind of a thing here. So they look onto the neighbor's grass, and you're like, holy crap, that grass is greener than mine. So then they got to pick on every little problem that is happening without looking in their own backyard. And their grass looks like shit, remember. But yet, for some reason, because the grass is greener on the other side, they want to nitpick at everything because their grass isn't as green.
Listen, I'm upset and I'm heated because as a PC gamer now, I look at both sides. Xbox with Game Pass is delivering. Stalker 2 dropped. I got to play it. I didn't like it, but I got to play it. Indiana Jones dropped. I played it. I liked it. I beat the game, right? When Hellblade dropped, I played it on PC as well. I liked it, right? Starfield dropped. I didn't like Starfield at 30 frames, but I liked the game. I played it, liked it, right? Forza Motorsport, I did not like Forza Motorsport on the Xbox Series X. Played it on Game Pass. It was my most played game last year. Dog, Game Pass is doing perfectly fine from the gamer's perspective. You weirdos are the ones that are looking at portfolios and what developers want and all this other stuff. The industry could kill Game Pass very easily. Stop putting your games on Game Pass. And then Game Pass won't be of value, and then people like me won't subscribe to Game Pass. It's really that simple.
The industry is making the value. But you do got to realize the amount of games that Microsoft owns now. It doesn't really matter. They could drop the price and still make money off it, enough to release games and keep it as a value.
Focus on what Sony's doing. What is Sony doing? And I told you at the beginning of this generation, the PlayStation 5 rolled the coattails of the PS4. These are facts. And now we're seeing what happened when you cap for hardware and not for your actual experience. Go ahead and keep championing. Go ahead and keep championing the sales. Go ahead and keep doing that. All I want to know is what happens next. That's it. Please, somebody tell me. Dark 985. There's levels to this. I hope that was enough passion for you. Don't you ever say I don't got passion for this, dude.
Oh. Very interesting. Very interesting. He's got a very good point on a lot of that stuff. Okay, guys, we are going to watch Colt Eastwood. The title of the video is Phil Spencer just saved Xbox, PlayStation in major trouble. Canceled games and more games weekly news.
Some crazy sounds in here.
Published this week about Xbox, Game Pass, Activision, Satya, Phil Spencer, and everything that shows that Phil and Satya were about to shut down the entire gaming division. The article was set behind a $200 or $900 paywall from a website you've probably never heard of that normally reports on business and financials. But it outlines Xbox's ABK and Bethesda and first-party venture, and that in 2021, Satya Nadella said that he was going to dissolve the entire gaming venture for Xbox. A source that was interviewed here is a market shareholder saying, quote, I just think the majority of the game market doesn't really want a Game Pass like the one Microsoft is offering, said Gus Zinn. The quote about Xbox leaving the game business actually comes from Satya Nadella telling the media that he had a discussion with Phil Spencer about the direction of the Xbox platform and that he was, quote, all in gaming. PlayStation fanboys and games journalists alike that have been talking and discussing and giving service that has been made by Xbox, Microsoft, should X games industry. A day or two later, it was all debunked when he spoke out about the allegations and claims made by the shareholder. They said it
Interesting. Very interesting.
wasn't accurate, and through omission, it was misrepresenting the business. Tweaktown, a prominent game journalist, reported the actual revenue increase that Xbox and ABK saw in this past fiscal year and said that I don't see it, that Xbox and Activision are growing really well. This graphic shows that Activision made up of 32% of the full year revenue. Xbox made $58 billion in post-Activision revenue in the fiscal year of 2024, which puts them just behind PlayStation at $27 billion and Nintendo in third place at around $12 billion in revenue. This graphic also shows that Activision contributed to $7.42 billion. Microsoft's official statement said, going back to quarter two of fiscal year 2024, Xbox's content and service revenue increased by 61%. Breaking those numbers down, Activision accounted for over 85% of the increase in 2024. In regards to Game Pass's growth, Xbox hasn't and will never explain where their metrics are anymore about Game Pass growing, but they did say, quote, we set a record for the new number of Game Pass subscriptions from Call of Duty Black Ops 6's launch day and set a new quarter one record for total revenue and average revenue per subscriber, end quote. Breaking, this news just in while I'm in the middle of editing my video, Jason Schreier of Bloomberg says that PlayStation just canceled 2 more games. Now, they've canceled 5 games in total this generation, I think about 5, which puts them at more canceled games than even Xbox had this generation, even last generation when they canceled Scalebound. What did they cancel? Well, Bluepoint, the team that got you.
Yeah, they canceled a lot. PlayStation has been canceling games left and right. And they can't really hide behind it anymore. Like, they're canceling games because they can't make a live service. I'm glad they figured that out. But what are they going to do going forward? Because exclusivity is dying. They're not going to make much money off exclusives anymore. And they're trying to make more money. Okay. They realize that selling their games on PC increases their profits. So they're going to keep doing that. Now, eventually, it's going to be day and date. But the question still states, like, what is PlayStation doing and how are they going to turn things around?
The Demon's Souls remake at the beginning of the generation on PS5 canceled a God of War live service game. And if you know how great Bluepoint games can look, a God of War live service game could look and feel incredible. But how many fans are asking for a God of War live co-op or competitive game? This is another fumble in PlayStation's ability to deliver service-based games that aren't.
Well, because like I said before, PlayStation can't do live service. They can try all they want, but they fail at making live service. Every time they have flopped on making a live service game. The exception was Helldivers, but that was because it was on PC day and date. If it wasn't for PC, Helldivers would have went to the wayside. Look at Concord. Concord literally fell apart within the first couple weeks.
Single player. The only game that they've succeeded with was Helldivers 2 at this point, and their studio didn't even make it. It gets even worse. When people start to think that Xbox is having a difficult time this generation, they're not paying attention. PlayStation is in absolute turmoil, and this generation has been the most difficult one for them, and it's not getting any better. Ben Studios, that made Days Gone one of my favorite games from last generation, was already told no, that they can't make a Days Gone sequel. And on top of...
Oh, wow. They got turned down for a second for Days Gone. Days Gone was actually a good game from PlayStation. That is actually fucked that they wouldn't let them make it the second one.
that, this recently reported that Ben Studios was also told to cancel their upcoming unannounced live service game as well. And all of this is going to fold into what you're about to hear from Shuhei Yoshida, a PlayStation veteran that just left and has a lot of complaints about his time and where PlayStation is heading. Shuhei Yoshida spoke to Greg Miller from Kind of Funny Games about his exit and departure from the PlayStation brand. And a ton of revelations came from this. Shuhei Yoshida has a long, storied past and history with PlayStation, bringing them up from the very beginning through their best years and into their tumultuous generation that is the PlayStation 5. Now, that can be hard to hear because PlayStation is still leading in many avenues, but things are more difficult than they seem behind the scenes. Is Horizon Forbidden West, a sequel to the great, well-loved game that came out in 2017. This 2022 release, Horizon Forbidden West, according to Shuhei, did not meet sales expectations.
Second Horizon game.
Okay.
You know, I loved Horizon game, and the game did well, and I was hoping that the sequel would do even better in terms of sales. The game was bigger and great,
of course,
but I don't think the second one did as many units as the first one.
Herman Holtz is the head of PlayStation's first-party studios, and he's really...
that's because, I hate to break it to you, it was pretty much the same game.
Pushing for Horizon as a franchise to be at the fourth PlayStation, their new mascot, and it doesn't work. In fact, they just put out a Horizon Lego game that completely flopped. No one bought it. No one played it. It makes you wonder about the motivation behind Herman Holtz, who wants to boost up his former Guerrilla Games team with their franchise instead of doing what's best by providing a ton of hot franchises or going back to tried and true franchises that are dormant. And he's the one that replaced Shuhei Yoshida from First Party Studios. Here in this clip, Shuhei explains that he was pushed out of First Party and relegated down to the indie games department.
Maybe that's one of the reasons they removed me from the first one.
She was going to be a problem. She was going to be a problem for a live service.
So you take the guy who's actually keeping your company afloat and you put him at the bottom? That doesn't make any sense.
But she won't want to do it. Get him out. Move it over.
Fans who like to argue about the success or the domination of PlayStation were really disappointed to hear that Shuhei Yoshida also explained that Helldivers 2 sold more than Spider-Man 2.
Who would have
really?
Helldivers 2?
Because it was multi-platform.
2 would sell more than Spider-Man 2, right?
Not me.
So that's the nature of the business. So
Spider-Man 2 was over $200 million in investment, barely made a profit, and Helldivers 2 was successful mainly because over 60% of the players played that game day one and throughout its launch window on PC. And if you're a PlayStation fan and you can't see now that that platform is moving to PlayStation as much as possible or as quickly as possible, then you're not paying attention to what Hiroki Totoki has said, what Sean Layden said when they pushed him out, and what Jim Ryan said when he said consoles are not enough when they asked him to retire early. If you don't believe me, just look at all the signs that show that some of your favorite darling leaders at the PlayStation have all moved on. And now PlayStation is in an ever-changing industry where they themselves don't look the same as they did before, pushing games as a service and going to PC, and as they say, going wherever there is compute. The last bit of news was...
Well, like I said, you don't make money off the consoles. You make money off the software. We'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, we are back. All right.
A long time coming and one of the industry's worst kept secrets, something I don't cover normally on this channel, but everybody wants to talk about the new Nintendo Switch 2. We saw it in screenshots, we saw leaks, we saw schematics, and the reveal is shown right here. It looks exactly like we expected. And from the outside, the Nintendo Switch 2 might just look like a new improved Switch. Like, hey, they made a bigger one for people that want one. It's fully backward compatible with the Nintendo Switch original from 2017. It also takes physical cards, just like your old Nintendo Switch, has a much bigger screen. Reports right now say that it has an LCD screen and not an OLED screen, but they've improved the Joy-Cons. It has a better separation and connection of those controllers, and they showed off a little bit of what would probably be called Mario Kart 9. Some of the screenshots show that maybe it's an open world racer. I doubt it, but it seems to be everything you've loved about Mario Kart, just with a new number and brand new graphics. They're telling you to tune in April 2nd of 2020, so just about a month until they reveal the Nintendo Switch 2, and they're not talking about the tech right now, which I think would be important to say. From what we know, this new Nintendo Switch has modern NVIDIA tech that is built into mobile or smaller laptops. So we are going to expect a massive multi-platform publisher approach where Ubisoft, EA, CD Projekt Red, Xbox Game Studios, PlayStation Studios, all kinds of third-party platforms that are normally on just PlayStation, Xbox, and PC will be making their way over to Nintendo Switch 2 because of the increased capability of the modern tech. And that's your gaming weekly news. This is Coldy, but thank you so much for checking out this video. If you're still here, thank you. I can't believe you're still here after a long rant, a bunch of financial discussion, but really, I wanted to boil that down to, it's all about perception. And I've been covering the Xbox platform for 6 or 7 years. It gets so exhausting to see people look at Xbox as just a plastic console where they're in third or last place and think this is the way it is. Right now, PlayStation's in first place in their market, and they're already running rampant with price hikes, price gouging, and anti-consumer practices, and they're unchecked. If you ended up enjoying this video, let me know by liking and subscribing to the channel. Hit the bell to be notified of new weekly content. If you want to further support what we're doing here with the Colt Eastwood channel, you can do that by hitting the join button below. That will get you.
All right. Not bad. Not bad. Okay, so we're gonna watch Dreamcast's new video. Dreamcast guy. And before we do that, we'll pull out the controller and say we're gonna talk about Dreamcast. Oh.
What's up, gamers? Dreamcast guy here, and this is going to be a very angry rant because we gotta talk about the state of PlayStation, because it does feel like a lot of Sony fans, a lot of just gaming industry enthusiasts have started to realize the fact that this generation is borked. It's bad. It's kind of just going down into the history books to consider the fact that PlayStation is exploding up stores now 4 years into the generation. The PlayStation 5 Pro seems to have at least been partially.
See, look, new report estimates how badly the PS5 is on Xbox. GameLand, again, another fucking PlayStation fanboy site.
Really successful, but there is not a bunch of crazy good Sony first-party stuff. This is the worst that Sony first-party has ever been. Like, actually consider that. PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, PlayStation Portable, PlayStation Vita, every other generation that Sony has been putting out has more games, more passion, more experimentation, more good stories. Whereas with the PS5, they're letting everybody else make good games, which is fine. I'm not saying every game sucks, but people are beginning to realize we're not going to get new first-party games until the PlayStation 6.
Wait, is this a video where he's gonna say PlayStation is dead? Like, seriously, is he gonna say PlayStation is dead in this video?
Let's talk. Hi, hope you're having a great day, and if you could, please give this video a like and subscribe if you haven't already. So last night I made a video talking about it, but a big leak was revealed that apparently they were working on a games as a service God of War, and that got canned, and Sony Bend was working on like a live service shooter, and that sucks on its own. But people are beginning to kind of realize it, do the math and realize we're not seeing anything until PlayStation 6. So in 2020, Sony announced 12 live service games. We now know what all 12 of these are because almost all of them have been canceled. So that means that this is an entire generation where more than half of their big studios have been working on stuff for years.
See, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm going to say. PlayStation fanboys, you guys have to admit to this. You guys want Xbox games because it's Xbox who is going to give you guys something to play. Isn't that fucked? So you're going to give Xbox money so that way we can play more games. Hey, I'm okay with that.
Only for it to get scrapped, and now they're working on PlayStation 6 launch games. Okay.
See, PlayStation's already figured this out. You guys will buy PlayStation just for the PlayStation logo. It's not whether the game is whether they have good stuff or whether they're being pro-consumer. You guys can care less about that shit. You'll buy it as long as it's a PlayStation.
So the damage Jim Ryan has done to PlayStation by greenlighting these games is legendary. I've seen so many people talking about really putting this on the shoulders of Jim Ryan. There have been a bunch of public statements and private statements, leaks and press releases and stuff about the fact that Jim Ryan was very much the play it safe head of PlayStation. His whole idea is that when the PlayStation 4 was really exploding, when it was really just taking off, Jim Ryan was afraid to release bad games. He didn't want to release stuff that wouldn't just sell, but he wanted it to be this cohesive brand. Let's face it, the Xbox One completely tanked. I mean, the Xbox One was dead at launch. And so with it...
Not really, because if that was the case, then Xbox wouldn't be around here. Granted, they did admit that Microsoft has admitted that they almost canned Xbox as a whole because of the Xbox One. But they also do admit that right now, they almost closed the studio again, but they decided not to because right now Microsoft is making just as much money as Sony right now in the gaming industry. Xbox is just underneath PlayStation.
Jim Ryan realized, okay, this is an opportunity for the PlayStation 4 to take off. Let's make games that we know are safe, good sequels, spin-offs, stuff like Infamous Second Son. Let's do Uncharted 4, Uncharted Lost Legacy. Let's play it safe with games that are good, that we know people are going to buy and celebrate and keep talking about.
Some more action adventure over the shoulder with stealth elements. God damn. I don't know about you, but I like games with gameplay. These heavily story-driven games aren't my cup of tea. Like, if I want to watch a movie, I will put in a movie and watch a movie. If I want to play a video game, I'm going to play a fucking video game, not a fucking movie. What the fuck? Like, guys, get better. Get better.
And that worked, but he went too far. He definitely went, okay, let's only play it safe. Let's only do what we know is going to be the safest bet possible. And when he did finally decide to step outside his comfort zone, it was to make a bunch of live service games. Now,
well, it's because live service games make a bunch of money. really what it is. See, live service games make this huge. So if you look at how much games are making, live service games right now are pretty much the height. They're making the most money right at the moment. They want a piece of that pie. Is what it is.
Even the most diehard Sony fans are starting to go, okay, this is ridiculous, because it shows one of the biggest problems in the industry right now that I think everybody is pissed about. Literally zero people are ever happy about this, is this weird obsession with taking teams that historically have been the best at single player stuff and just forcing them to make a multiplayer project. We saw that with Rocksteady. They made the incredibly good Arkham Batman games, and they said, okay, now we have to make a live service Suicide Squad. We saw it with Arcane Austin. Oh, the Dishonored games are fantastic. Go make a games as a service vampire hunting game in Redfall, which ended up closing the studio. For whatever reason, Jim Ryan...
Redfall wasn't a live service game. It's mostly a single player game, and me and my friends, we played it, and we actually thought it was not bad.
Thought that everything would be better with microtransactions and season passes, and now all these studios have nothing to show for it. Like, who actually sat in a boardroom and heard a pitch for a live service God of War and said, hell yes, make Bluepoint do it? Of all people, Bluepoint. Oh my God. God of War live service game sounds insane. The damage Jim Ryan did to the PlayStation 5 generation studios will be remembered.
Well, I don't know about you, but again, you're having developers make games that they're not used to making, but that's just a common fucking thing. Dude, fucking Chris, my phone's starting to piss me off. Can you not put claws in my back? Alright. But like I said, like this they keep trying to push for these live service games. That's not going to work for them in the long run. Eventually, it's going to flop for them.
Remembered for a lifetime. This push for live service has way too much, it seems. Oh my God, maybe half of them would have been okay, but a lot of these games, I saw this tweet here, and I feel like this is great because it really itemizes how much has been canned, and it's really weird to act.
Twisted Metal. There was a Twisted Metal that got canned. What? That would have made me buy a PlayStation. Not gonna lie.
Actually see this. So in 2020, when they announced the 12 live service games, I pushed back against it. A lot of people pushed back against it.
Well, that's you guys' fault because you don't understand that live service games are the future. You got to understand there's more and more live service games happening. If a game company like Sony, who's got a bunch of money, can't sit there and figure it out, that's on them.
Because you
use nib.
The idea of all this live service stuff, live service is infinitely expensive. You're constantly having a massive dev team with no vacations, tons of crunch. You're constantly having to churn out new maps, new content, new.
4 years into this, Sony is learning how expensive live service is. It is and isn't. If it was so expensive, we wouldn't see so many companies being very successful with it. So you just got to admit PlayStation's bad with live service. There's nothing else to it. PlayStation is bad with live service games.
New characters, new microtransactions. And so because of it, not only is it ridiculously expensive, but it's going to just measurably so.
You do know that in World of Warcraft, a fucking microtransaction for a fucking unicorn sold more than the entire game of StarCraft. A $4 microtransaction did better than StarCraft. So the in-game transaction is what's making the money.
Broke up the teams around it. I mean, a lot of times look at Bungie. Bungie was always having to hire. They were always having to fire. They were constantly trying to worry about the next season, the next DLC, the next big patch.
That's just called having a live service game. But the money is there.
So this 12 games they announced, 8 of them have been canceled. 8 of them have been canceled in just the last 3 years. Somehow it's still easy to put their most profitable generation ever because honestly, this is still just the PlayStation 5 is still huge, even as these games keep getting canned. But here, it's really weird to just see every game that's canceled. Blue Point's God of War game, canceled. Sony Ben's Shooter, canceled. Bungie's Payback, canceled. Fire Sprite's Twisted Metal games as a service, canceled. Firewalk was working on Concord, that's canceled, and the studio is now closed. Insomniac's Spider-Man The Great Web, now that was actually even leaked. We saw gameplay trailers that were fully voiced. It looked like that was ready to go. The Great Web was a multiversal, multiplayer Spider-Man game. They canned that, what seems like right before launch. The London studios.
Really surprised? They cannot make a live service game. So they failed miserably, so now they're trying to double back and say, oh, we're not going to do these because they flopped. Well, how about you just learn from other people, take what they have done right, and figure out how to make it work for you. And the problem is they keep going for these hero shooters. Not everybody wants to play a fucking hero shooter. There's so many fucking hero shooters out there. It's got to be unique.
Fantasy multiplayer game canceled. Naughty Dog The Last of Us Factions Online canceled in 2023. The only ones that have been a success, and even these, this is just barely measurable, is GTA 7 that worked well, Helldivers 2 that worked well, MLB The Show, and Destiny 2 The Final Shape. And even Destiny 2, there's talks about the fact that that game is completely imploding. Looking at a list like this, it's hard not to get frustrated because this stuff is not ancient history. We're not going to the ancient texts to find these historical legends of when PlayStation got great. PlayStation was incredibly awesome even 5 or 6 years ago. It is weird to think about the fact that the bigger Sony gets, the lazier they get. And I think a lot of people, Sony fans, Xbox people, I feel like there's this rivalry of, okay, Xbox owns a lot of studios. They're trying to put stuff everywhere. Even when there is a good Xbox game, I'll just buy it on PlayStation. But people are also going, okay, how is Sony going to keep up? How is Sony going to get motivated? How is Sony really ever going to have that fire under their asses to try to beat the competition when it feels like Sony doesn't care about the competition? Sony doesn't care because systems keep selling. The third-party stuff keeps paying the bills. But I think it really kind of puts into perspective how much Sony has this razor-thin profit margin. They're constantly just trying to sell a game for a profit and get you enticed to buy the next PlayStation, the next limited edition controller. And I feel like these big gambles that they hoped would put them in a better spot have now just blown up in their faces one by one. Every live service game, every weird project, everything that was supposed to be the infinite moneymaker has now become a money pit. Putting a remake studio into a live service title, let alone God of War, is certifiably insane. Bloodborne remake is right there. The fact that they had Blue Point working on this right after this, the fact that they had them working on this directly after making the Demon Souls remake, it's baffling. So many of these decisions are frustrating because
why?
It's not just that it lacks creativity. I feel like I'm just hitting this point where I am frustrated by the people signing the checks, by the executives that I truly feel like are not playing games. When I see stuff like this, people talking about the fact that
You guys keep playing PlayStation and you wonder why they keep fucking you guys over. Very interesting. Xbox got humbled, and now, let's be honest, Xbox is about to. They're catching up to Sony pretty goddamn fast. They've actually taken second place. Console-wise, there's only one console that sold the most, and that is the Switch. But when it comes down to it, though, Xbox is ahead of the curve. Exclusives does not help the console. Does not help sell a brand. It's not going to help your company at all. And that is why they're stepping away from exclusivity more and more. And we're not just seeing Microsoft do this, but we're also seeing PlayStation do this. At some point, we'll see no more exclusives. And I think this is a good thing, not a bad thing. I think the end exclusives is needed. So we'll be excited to see that when that happens.
Sony bend, they're not making Days Gone 2. I wish they'd make something like an Uncharted Golden Abyss remake or a Siphon Filter reboot. These are projects that are passionate, that fans still love, that are still exciting, but the people at the top don't understand it. Like, clearly, no offense to Herman Hulst and all the people at the top of Sony and stuff, but I feel like those guys do not understand how much
they needed to make a Days Gone 2. They needed to cap up on the success of Days Gone.
people would tear their hair out for a completely new Uncharted game at this point. Uncharted 5 or a remake, a Siphon Filter sequel or a reboot. How much people just want good single-player games, even if it has a multiplayer component. Just make a good
What? You only want single-player game? You guys heard this, right? You know the story is that we us on Xbox and people on PC, we tell people all the time of our gaming stories. The reason why we have those stories is because of those big multiplayer games. If those didn't exist, we wouldn't be having these big conversations, like telling these massive stories. Like we're like, fuck yeah! Like, come on.
single-player game. Yeah, I know that's a lot easier said than done, but at this point, what happened to giving people cool experiences to play, to dare, to clip, to post on the internet? PlayStation, you gotta get back to your roots, man. I'm not sure what magic got lost, what fear got stoked into you boys, but remember when gaming was a lot more clean, when gaming was a lot more focused, when gaming was a lot more, I don't know, for the gamers. All right, I just wanted to do an angry rant, kind of get this out of my system.
PlayStation has never been for the gamers. Okay, at the bottom line, PlayStation is looking at their bottom dollar. They're trying to make a buck. Okay, every company is going to look that way, no matter which brand you're backing. PlayStation is just trying to make money. Right now, they're hurting, obviously, and they can't seem to figure out what's going on. And obviously, I think that what is happening, when people sit there and say they want only single-player games, that doesn't really work well. Because even on my PS2, I still played with people. So you want to have multiplayer games, but you also want to have good experiences. You want to have great experiences. And right now, the only one developer is providing that. And I know people are like, well, they're not exclusive. You know, Xbox is getting rid of their exclusives. Well, who cares? The exclusivity is dying. There's no point in it anymore. I think you should be able to game on whatever hardware you prefer to game on. You should be forced behind a box that you don't want to buy. No one's mad about the Nintendo Switch review. You know what? We will watch RGT's video. Fuck it. We gotta watch Hardman too.
Everyone will be using in 2025. I feel like I just found a Google cheat code. This Chrome extension lets.
So yesterday was a big and exciting day if you are a fan of video games, because we finally got a look at the Nintendo Switch 2, a system with what I feel is a perfect, you know, to go crazy name called and 30-second-ish showcasing off the Nintendo Switch 2 system. I, of course, made a video on it along with a million other people. My video got on trending tab for gaming on YouTube, so shout outs to you guys for checking out that video and watching and enjoying a very fun time. But just anything in life, when you get something
Bear with me, guys. Checking something, make sure we're still we got everything running properly. We do.
something and you kind of expected more, there's going to be people that are not happy. And I saw some of the most bizarre complaints about this presentation and the things coming from this presentation now that I just decided I need to talk about this. I saw this from random Twitter accounts I follow, Twitter accounts that retweet other Twitter accounts, other YouTubers talking about this sort of stuff. And I'm like, I guess you can't enjoy anything in life. So we're going to take a look at some of these complaints, most of which I think are ridiculous. Some maybe I'll give a little bit of credit to. But the first thing we're going to talk about here is arguably one of the dumbest things that I saw. And I want to get this out of the way because I have a lot of vitriol towards this. I saw a tweet that was being retweeted and shared that said something along
like me, you'd probably think that what they're trying to say
the lines of, I wish the presentation showed me how my Switch 1 collection, and they named like 170 some odd games, will run and perform on the Switch 2. Now I have to wait longer. So you saw, let me get this straight. You saw a trailer for a brand new video game console. A video game console.
You expected games to be running, not the console itself. They're going to boost the console. The games will come later.
Console that is going to have its own library of games that is going to be more powerful than the current console you have in your hands that will play all 170 some odd of those games. And the first thing that pops into your mind is, what are my old games going to look like? Who cares? Who cares? You can play those games right now. I'm assuming you're expecting there to be some sort of way for these games to look and run better on the Switch 2. Now, whether that is due to native support, whether that is due to DLSS brute strength, which I don't think will necessarily be the case, whether companies come along and add in a patch for free. I
think that they're using a lot of architecture that is used in most consoles, so I think it should, like they were saying, PC are like small laptops and phones. So we might see a lot more third-party games, which means that they might be running the games better. Don't forget they did buy out, or sued and then bought out the studio that does emulation. So they may have used their system to emulate games.
Or make a patch that you could buy for a couple dollars, $10 or something like that, or make a whole new version of the game. You could still play those games right now. You can play those games right now at this instant. So what does the new system have to do with the games? Who cares? And people were like, yeah, you know what? I don't know how my games are going to look. My current library of games. I don't buy I like backwards compatibility, and we're going to talk about backwards compatibility in just a second.
Backwards compatibility should be a must. It should be, to be honest with you, when it comes to backwards compatibility, it should be an industry standard.
I like backwards compatibility. I think it's a very good selling feature for a console because it allows people who have invested into the original console's ecosystem to bring those games over to the new platform. So it's a great thing. But it's not what I care about on day one with the system. What I care about on day one with the system is the upcoming library of games.
They actually tell you at the end of the trailer.
Games. I don't plan on playing any original Switch games on the Switch 2 on day one because I'm assuming there's going to be a bountiful selection of new titles to enjoy, new things to play, new experiences to be had. So I'm not concerned about that. But while I think that is an absolutely ridiculous just thing to bring up and that people were riding with that, like, how dare they? One thing I will bring up, though.
Yeah, they have a right to want to be able to play there. That should be an industry standard anyways. If you want to know if your game's going to work, you should be able to know that. But as we get the first announcement trailer, you can't expect them to announce it right away. And they did actually announce it.
That I think is a valid concern is the fact of the backwards compatibility thing. So during the initial trailer, the initial presentation for this, we saw mention backwards compatibility, but it did say that it was physical and digital, but some software may not be compatible. And of course, I saw peers of mine making videos. Well, what does this mean? Well, what's this about? You know, this, that, and the other. Some people, you know, going off the deep end. Oh, you know, this is false information. They said it was going to be backwards compatible, but now there's an asterisk and there's certain situations. But I sat back and thought about it, and I don't even remember what the hell I said in my initial video because I'll be honest with you guys, I had just rolled out of bed when I made that video. But I'm sure I said something along the lines of there's probably Switch-specific titles that maybe utilize something that the Switch 2 either does differently or may not have. And honestly, when thinking about it, Labo comes to mind because Labo at its core is a Nintendo Switch experience. And I think that maybe Labo will not work with the Switch 2 system because the Joy-Cons are different, because the screen size is bigger. So when you do the VR headset, you can't put it into that little piece of cardboard. So I think that's what this is stemming from. I think the technology in the Switch 2 Joy-Con is very different than the Switch 1 Joy-Con because of the fact that you kind of have a whole new ability, which we'll get into in just a moment with this system. But I don't think it's going to be a one-to-one sort of thing. I think there are differences between them. And because of these differences, things like Labo will not be supported with this. Now, is there a chance that it is more widespread? I do think so. And I do think that more clarification is indeed needed with this. But I'm not going to assume the worst with it. I would assume that it is more so going to be along the lines of stuff like Labo. And if we're missing out on Labo, and you genuinely care about that, man, you're on the wrong channel, homeboy, because we don't like Labo around these parts. It is a genuine concern, something to keep an eye on for sure. But I don't think...
I didn't even care. What the fuck is Labo? I could give a rat's ass, to be honest with you. But it is a genuine concern to worry about. What it is I don't think that... I think it's that they use the emulation that they... So there was a company that they sued for doing emulators for the Switch. And I wonder if they used their emulation system for the Switch 2. Backwards.
I think it's going to play out in a manner where it's like, you know, 40% of the library or something. Oh, it doesn't carry over for this or the other reason. I do think the vast majority of things will outlaw like stuff that give a valid concern to is the fact that the system looks too similar. It doesn't have that Nintendo flair to it. It doesn't have that Nintendo pizzazz where they do something completely off the rails. And it's funny to me because the same people that are saying this sort of thing are the same people who hated the Wii U gamepad and did not buy the Wii U, are the same people who bitched about Wii U motion controls and used the Wii motion controls and used the Wii for a little bit to play some Wii tennis and Wii sports with their friends and family.
The Wii U was a fucking dumpster fire. RGT. I know you a lot of people talk about you and certain people that talk about me. So I'm going to tell you right now, RGT, you had a bad take there. And like I said, I always call people out on their bad takes. The Wii U was a fucking horrible console. It was a fucking dumpster fire. Okay? It almost bankrupted Nintendo. It is one of the worst selling consoles next to the fucking Dreamcast back in the late 90s. Or no, that was the Dreamcast. It was a Sega. I know it was a Sega. The last Sega console. Yeah, it was the Dreamcast. So it sold worse or almost as bad as the Dreamcast. Why I am saying this, keep in mind that people do not give the Wii U any fucking ounce of credit, period, because it doesn't deserve it. The Wii itself, yes, they did very good. The Wii U, not so much.
But then quickly moved on and played other systems. Those same people are now the ones that are upset that Nintendo is playing it safe with this, playing it safe with the name, playing it safe with the design. To that I say, and this is going to sound mean, but I mean, it's kind of true. You don't understand how success works. The whole thing is video game companies are trying to find a formula. And sometimes you could take risks. Sometimes you have to break away from the formula if it's not working out in your favor, i.e. the GameCube situation when the GameCube did not sell all that well. So Nintendo went back to the drawing board and came up with something new with the Wii. The Wii U was a colossal failure in terms of naming, in terms of marketing, in terms of system sales, in terms of everything. And then you come back with
so you did get that.
This Nintendo Switch system that's probably going to be the best-selling system of all time. Do people complain?
It's not probably, it is. It's already been registered as the best-selling console of all time.
That Sony doesn't take enough risks? Or is that why Sony's successful with their systems? Because you know what you're getting, a stronger iteration of previously successful hardware. Most people want Nintendo to take this approach safely because you found something that works really damn well.
PlayStation. RGT, you cannot be defending PlayStation right now. They're not looking too great. We just watched a bunch of stuff on how PlayStation's doing bad. God.
Well, you found something that works extremely well, probably better than your wildest imagination would allow for. And to say that there's no innovation with this, going back to the controls, the Joy-Cons of the system. There's like a mouse. What the hell is that mouse?
Let's go.
Applebee's really big meal deal for $9.99. Size matters when it comes to our big classic bacon cheeseburger, plus endless fries and drinks, all for just $9.99.
Say goodbye to Slack because chat's here and it's inside ClickUp. Everything you need in chat is here.
It looks like a mouse.
I'm very curious about the mouse.
It moves like a mouse. You're probably going to be able to use it like a mouse. And that, my friends, is innovation. That, my friends, is very interesting. That, my friends, signals to me I'm getting a new Mario Paint. And I want that. And I want Mario Paint on Super Nintendo's online, on the online Nintendo Switch Online. I want Mario Paint added to that with the mouse support. I want to be able to draw things, really just write words like John sucks. I want to be able to play the fly swatter game. I want to listen to the music. I want to create music. I want to be like a little kid and, tell people, oh, look, I made this song. I used to, like my cousin, because he had a Super Nintendo, I didn't. He would leave the room and he would come back like a few minutes later, like I have to go in the bathroom, like, oh, yo, I made this song. And I play the little demo song. And he'd be like, you didn't make that. And I'm like, nah, bro, I totally made that song. I don't know. But like, that's cool. That's innovation. That's taking something that exists and playing it safe, but expanding upon it in an interesting way to where you do open up avenues of creativity. You do.
Yeah, you could end up creating a lot of new avenues of creativity. We'll be right back, guys. Come on. Oh, no, we're back. We're back, but for some reason, on my part, it looks all janky, but it looks like everything registered. Now it looks right. Okay. Sweet.
You open up avenues of freedom. You do open up avenues of being able to be a little bit different than other people. So to say that the system looks too similar and they're playing it too safe with this, no. They see success and they want more success. Sometimes you have to take a risk in order to achieve success. But if you have success with something, you obviously want to do something kind of similar to what you did before. So I think this is exactly what people wanted. And the people complaining about this, I don't know, man, that's just ridiculous to me. Now, another thing,
That's a bitch. That's what I have to say. I think that it's a smart move because Nintendo's already figured out what's works. So why step away from that and just keep doing what you're already doing?
being too similar doesn't expand to just the system. It expands beyond that, folks, because Mario Kart 9, or I don't know, is it Mario Kart 10 because Mario Kart Tour exists? Is that Mario Kart 9? We don't really know, but there was a new Mario Kart that was showcased, and it looks like Mario Kart.
is that?
This looks the same. This looks extremely similar to Mario Kart. Once again, what's Nintendo's best-selling system of all time? The Nintendo Switch, by a country mile. What is Nintendo's best-selling game of all time? It is Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, by a country mile. Nintendo could write Mario Kart on a box, take a dump in it, and sell it for $60 or $70. People would line up out the door. It'd sell 20 million copies. Even if there's just feces in there, people would still buy it. Like, that's how big Mario Kart now has become. But does it really look the same? I guess from a 10-second perspective, sure. But what are the gameplay mechanics? What are the different tracks? And there was something different in that trailer. Of course, Donkey Kong himself. Now this is based on a movie version of Donkey Kong, which could be potentially something that Nintendo does more of going forward because they are within the cinematic world of stuff nowadays. But that is a change. He looks much more expressive in this than in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I can't really judge something on a 10-second trailer. Does it look like Mario Kart? Yes. But you don't have all of the context of that. So if you're kind of on the fence about it, sure. Okay. But to just completely write it off because it looks just like Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Like, bro. Come on. That was
it's just another Mario Kart. Mario Kart's always sold well.
Little snippet. That was a little teaser, an appetite wetter. Pretty much saying, hey, Mario Kart 9 or 10 is going to be at the launch of this system. But the final thing is the most perplexing. It's just shows how humanity is right now. Entitled. Impatient. And that's saying a lot coming from me because I'm an impatient son of a bitch. I have to wait till April to get more information about the Switch 2 now. It's going to be such a long wait. Are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? Is there no logic in the world anymore? Because I saw that all over the April to get questions answered, blah, blah. Okay, let's talk about why they did this now. First and foremost, because you're all impatient bastards, myself included. I'm very impatient with this. I've wanted a new Switch system for a couple of years now. But beyond that, they have investors meetings coming up. They have the end of the fiscal year 2025 coming up at the end of March. And then, a few days after that, they do the April blowout for the direct presentation. But there's another reason that's tied to that. For third-party developers, because now third-party companies, while they can't necessarily say a date of when the game will be available because of the fact that, well, we don't know the date of the system or anything like that, they can now say, our game is coming to this platform. Our game is coming to Nintendo Switch 2. So now you have an onslaught of third-party games, indie games as well, that will be announced as coming to the Nintendo Switch 2, being worked on for the Nintendo Switch 2. You'll get more information soon. You might actually even see some gameplay. Because if it's a game that's already been announced that is being now touted as coming to the Switch 2, companies are going to be in a position to start talking about these sorts of things, thus giving you a plethora of information from now until April. It's not like the communication is going to completely shut off here. Yes, Nintendo themselves might not talk too much about it, but the third-party companies are. The accessory manufacturers are, and maybe you'll get some more information on that little mouse and how it works, because now you got to make a freaking cover for the mouse thing. Like, I don't get it. I don't. You finally got something, but it wasn't good enough for you. It wasn't.
Well, you got to realize, okay, with people, this is how it works. Nothing is ever good enough. There'll never be anything good enough for what they want. Period. What is going on with Twitch? Okay, so now we got to go to Harmon Smith. Oh. There we go.
He would install Pi on his computer without spending a dime because it's 100% free.
Man, I've really been wanting to put together a Nintendo switcheroo prediction video for a while. This is not me like making hard statements. My super hot girlfriend who works at Nintendo hasn't told me anything on the console. She's not allowed to. Okay, but
Super hot girlfriend that works at Nintendo. That seems like you're kind of trying to grab on straws there, buddy.
for the sake of speculation and for my own amusement, what can we expect to see out of the Nintendo console? I think right now I want to talk about the game specifically because that's what I'm more interested in. Like I think for the console itself, it will be more the same. I'm sure there will be lots of new exciting features. I'm hoping for a return to Miiverse, right? We need that after Elon dropped the ball with Twitter the way he did. But yeah, I do expect the console is going to be hugely successful and it's going to establish Nintendo as the market leader in gaming going forward. There's nothing that Grand Theft Auto 6 or COD can do to stop it. I've made these views clear over the
COD is going on to the Switch. Really. So that doesn't really help anything. And Grand Theft Auto is going to sell and move consoles whether you like it or not.
the past couple of years. But Nintendo succeed over the next several decades, and we're going to see that happen, and it's going to be glorious. But when it comes to games themselves, I find myself really interested in just what I think we're going to see in the first couple of years, because we all know Mario Kart 9 is due probably day one. I think we can expect a 3D Mario. I think we can expect Animal Crossing fairly early on. Well, now it'll be a couple of years before Animal Crossing. I think we can expect some big names day one. I don't think it's impossible for a new 2D Metroid for Mercury Steam, for example, to be made, or a new ARMS. But there are a handful of things that I think we can reasonably expect to see. First of all, the big one, F-Zero.
He's got fucking little sausage figures. Anyone see the little sausage figures? He's got little stubs for fingers.
I do think with the release of F-Zero 99, with Out of Nowhere the way it did, with the focus it got, how successful it was, it's safe to say that F-Zero is on the way back in some capacity. Now, I don't know if what it's going to look like. I'm sure it's going to be it's going to have crazy new features. It's going to be fast. It's going to be exciting. Really looking forward to that. It will be a racing game, obviously, but how will it evolve from older entries? We don't know. But I do think it is coming. Another thing I think is coming is Donkey Kong Country Returns 3. I expect that the reason they decided to release Donkey Kong Country Returns HD now is so they could get the audience warmed up for the follow-up, a real sequel to Tropical Freeze from Retro Studios, with the same kind of general gameplay style.
Well, see, the thing is the original Donkey Kong Country, they had to go to Microsoft to get permission to remake those Donkey Kong Country games. So I think there's something in the woodworks for more Nintendo old games, whether they're going to be all coming to both the Xbox and Nintendo, or if they'll just end up on the Xbox or just end up on Nintendo. We'll see as we go forward.
And just a new entry in this series. It's been too long, honestly. Like a while ago, I was really pushing for this idea that I really wanted a sequel to DK64, and I do really, really want to see that. But like, I think it's been so long since like a proper 2D country game that I would not mind a 2D game either. But again, Donkey Kong really, really, really needs to make a really good comeback. And he already did with Returns. You know, people really underestimate just how successful Returns actually was. But like, I am very tired of seeing people complaining about Donkey Kong being mistreated. So he definitely needs to come back for the next Nintendo console, and I think it will happen. Another thing that I think is really interesting that I don't see a lot of people talk about, out of nowhere.
He's not saying anything about the Pretendos, about talking about rumors when it comes to the next Nintendo console. That's a little weird. But, buddy, at least you're not trying to cope.
Nowhere, we got a new sequel to Famicom Detective Club, after the first two games were remade, right? So, Emio the Smiling Man was great, hugely successful. I loved it. But there was another like obscure Nintendo IP that came out of nowhere with a couple of remakes that really should be talked about more. And I do think Another Code is ripe for a sequel, because if you actually look at the development interviews, when you see who Nintendo contracted, when you see why they contracted them.
Okay, guys, we'll be right back, and this time you guys can look at Harmon Smith for a little bit. All right, guys, we are back.
Like Arc System Works has a lot of people that worked at like Sing back in the day, and they put together this really cool like engine, like that doesn't really feel anything like the older games. You have like old full 3D models. It's really cozy to navigate the setting, and it's like I was playing this and I kind of thought that like this feels too sophisticated for a simple remake. Like, to me, it seems like the reason these games were put into production was to gear up for a sequel, for a third game. And I honestly would have expected that before Emio, but considering recent events, yeah, I do think Another Code is in the works. I do think it could come out of nowhere. I do think this is something that will be really exciting to see. Like, if we get Another Code on like new Nintendo hardware where they actually have like the resources they need to make a really good, interesting game, we could have a really cool, narratively driven game. Something that kind of has a different sort of appeal to Ace Attorney and Danganronpa.
He's kind of getting boring, guys. Like, I'm not gonna lie, it was a little boring. Okay. All right. We are going to start watching someone that are another content creator I really enjoy. It's kind of a group of people. They do this these really cool things. So just bear with me. We're going to pull them up now. And they launched a couple new videos. If you guys have ever heard of Viva La Dirt League, we're going to start watching their reacting to their videos here as well. And we've actually got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos to react to. So let's get into this.
Need bread for the dungeon? No? Okay, so,
Hey,
Oh, hey, Brett. Hey, Brett.
did you guys see what they're telling in the story?
No, what was
A golden axe is $60.
it? You mean still?
No, $60.